He looked down at my feet and said, "Those are really nice shoes. You want to sleep with me?"
He'll bring little fish home because we love fish. Oh, look, we've got our little fish. A little brown in the soil.
A worm?
A worm. Maybe you're a worm taking care of like the soil around my flower.
What keeps people from finding happiness, from finding happily ever after?
Ooh.
Oh my God, that's him.
Some people said it's themselves. And that if you're not wholly, fully 100% right with yourself, you're not going to be able to expect somebody else to love you as well.
That really makes sense because, you know, if you consider yourself the foundation of a relationship you're going into, if your foundation is constantly shifting, you can't possibly have something stable to offer someone else. So to me...
Wait, my foundation's always shifting.
But I love your foundation. You can shift it however you want, as long as I get to walk behind.
Yeah, some people are not comfortable with themselves and they always have this personal fight, which as long as they have that, they'll never be happy either.
They may not be happy themselves, they may be looking for happiness in another person, and obviously you can add to someone's happiness by being together, but another person cannot make you happy.
Most people, for various reasons, have a profound sense of unworthiness.
They never believe they're worthy or beautiful or divinely made or any of these things that, you know, could make you believe you're worth it.
I think it's the environment you create for yourself and the mindset you put yourself in.
And some people looked at it as, once people are together, what do couples have to do?
You're right. A lot of the couples answer that as a couple.
You're not saying, I'll be happy when my wife does this, or, you know, when our relationship is this. You're happy with where you are and who you are at that moment.
You know, jealousy.
I don't know.
No trust. Like, she's never went into my wallet, and after all these years, I've never gone into her purse.
A bank of people that had the opposite point of view, that it wasn't an internal issue, it wasn't an issue of the self, it was societal, it was cultural, it was something external.
I think society definitely tells us sometimes of, you know, like, oh, it should be this way, or whatever. There's weird societal pressures that are telling you, like, relationships should be like A, B, and C.
I know people who have been so immersed with the idea that what a happy life looks like, or what love looks like, is specifically, you know, the very heteronormative, like, you know, I will get married to someone of the opposite gender, we will have children, have a family, that when they find out that they're actually attracted to the same sex, they have a conflict with themselves, so they don't know if they can ever really be happy with that.
Especially in the African American community. We don't see a lot of it growing up. You don't see a lot of marriages. You don't see a lot of fathers sticking around.
Guys are not mature nowadays.
That's right.
They're very immature. A lot of them around here, they don't work, or either they're on drugs.
Sometimes you kind of mimic what you see. So if you have a mom that's like, I don't need a man, I don't have to have a man. This is the black girl head that you got to do that. Yeah, I don't need a man, I don't have to have a man. I don't, you know. As little kids, you kind of grow up with that same finger and that same neck and that same attitude. So when you meet men and they want somebody, and maybe they came from family or they came from love, it's hard to let them in.
If you take all the pieces together, they come up with a whole story.
Well, and for some it was a mix of those two things. It's partly the internal struggle that people have to have that strong foundation, partly cultural issues that led up to heightened expectations.
Right.
That some people were of the opinion that happiness isn't found because people just set their expectations too high. They're looking for something that's unreasonable.
Because they have their own criteria, and they are looking for their own specification.
I think nowadays people expect too much. I think you have to, as you're married longer and longer, there's a lot of give and take, and most people aren't willing to do that give and take.
They're looking for a perfect person, not anybody.
No compromise.
They may be looking for perfection, and that's not there. So we work with what we have and what we've been given.
You can't have this ideal person in your head saying, I'm going to do this and this and that and marry that ideal person. It's whoever you fall in love with.
While on the one hand I agree, when I would hear people say that, say, well, they're not willing to compromise in what they're looking for. I say, well, if you compromise with what you're looking for, how do you know what your standards are at all? Or should you just enter into it without having any?
I think you should pretty much have no standards.
Really? Okay. Well, that's how you ended up with me then.
Men, probably women do the same thing, are always looking for the next. Like, maybe you love the partner you're with now, but they could be thinner, they could be more successful. And there's always that, never just accepting a person for who they are.
They're looking for the fun, the stability, and just the one that's just like his mom, but on an introverted level of stripper, poser, extremist, you know.
I think the people that never find it always want more.
Always searching for more.
Searching for more, whatever that more is, something that's missing in their relationship.
Sometimes it's your own experience before you get there.
Your upbringing and whatnot. Like if you're not used to having love in your household and you know what I mean, like certain little stuff like that, then you're not going to know what that is as an adult. You're going to run away from that as an adult because it's going to scare you a little bit.
They may have not had enough experience in life, or they haven't, or they've experienced life but it's gone the wrong way, or they've given up.
From my experience, love is not like something you have to cook.
It's not like making a sandwich and instant gratification type of situation, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta work on it once you're in it.
You know, a lot of people don't want to be inconvenienced. They don't want to go out of their way. They want things comfortable. Love is not always comfortable, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and there were a couple of people that bypassed all these ideas together and said, you know what, it was just luck.
It's luck.
I think we got lucky, and we just happened to be very compatible, and we just happened to meet.
Our flames just found each other by chance.
I think a lot of it is luck nowadays, too. I think I was very fortunate that I fell in love with this person.
Well, I think a lot of it is luck.
I'd love to keep going back to what Carrie said.
I think that's the whole thing, is that you don't have to know what you're looking for, you just have to recognize what it is when you find it.
And oftentimes, in fact, I'd say usually, people get close enough that they hammer around the edges until they make it work. That suggests that there's two things going on. Perhaps you don't know what happiness is. You don't know what happily ever after is until you find it. If you don't find it, you make it. And maybe that's, if we had to offer a piece of advice, maybe that's what it would be.
Yeah.
Is if you're not happy where you are, do what Elam said.
Yeah.
You know, I think people find happiness in where they are, and some people just get comfortable where they are. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I like to hope that most people are happy where they are, and that people change when they aren't. They try to find something.
So if there is a takeaway in all this, it's that regardless of whether people think happily ever after is found from a strong sense of self, regardless or in spite of external pressures, whether it's high expectations, all of these things really come down to don't give up hope. No more than you would give up love.
I like that.
Thanks for watching. Oh, the bra fell down. Hi!
Hello again.
Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like more love,
You can see more here, and you can subscribe
here.
Meanwhile, hold me while I tango.
Oh, God.